Hello, this is David Kozich, Chief Spiritual Officer and Senior Minister for the LoveMakers Foundation. Tonight's talk from Las Vegas, Nevada is, I think, a very personal, a very, in a way, mystical talk, love message. Tonight's love message is Love as the Second Coming. Another title could be Love and the Second Coming of Jesus Christ. When we talk about the Second Coming, of course we are discussing the Second Coming of Jesus Christ. Is it true? Is it not true? What are the different opinions? Tonight I'll reveal my opinion, but in a way it doesn't really matter what you believe. I was told over 40 years ago that Jesus would come anytime. By a famous minister in front of a group of 1,000 college students. But it really doesn't matter when the second coming of Jesus happens, because we are here, we are now, and the tools of love that we give you, that I'm giving you, will get you to heaven if the second coming occurs as it is in the Bible. But for tonight's love message, I'm not going to go to the book of Revelation. There was not from the words of Jesus. They're very spectacular words, but I'm going to stick with the words of Jesus and look at the last 2,000 years of history. There are only 5 things really that can happen in different offshoots regarding the second coming. One, there could be a literal return. Most Christians are banking on the fact there's a literal return, that Jesus Christ will return as he specified. That the angels would come down in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 30. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the 4 winds and from one end of heaven to the other. That's Jesus talking about his second coming. Will that actually happen? I have to say, highly doubtful. It's been over 2,000 years, but there's still hope in the Christian community. That hope will probably go on for another 2,000 years. Now, as part of that, Jesus did say also that everything is going to near, that truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. So Jesus is actually saying that will happen in that generation. And in fact, many scholars, biblical scholars, many people back then in the day of Jesus thought the second coming was going to happen then, or that it was imminent. But of course it didn't happen. Now Jesus also says he doesn't know when nobody knows when the second coming is going to happen, only the Father, that is God. But the universe keeps expanding. Consciousness and I think human intelligence keeps expanding. And what we have here is this dimension, here and now. How are you going to live in the here and the now? Now, there's also different opinions on spiritual awakenings. The realization, if you look at Yogananda, even Tolstoy, there is a part where we will have a divine awakening, that you will have a divine awakening, that maybe society will have a divine awakening to love, to God, to something greater than ourselves that bring us all together and unify the world and humankind. And then there is the realization that you have become the Christ, that you have not only discovered the kingdom of heaven within, as Jesus specifically talks about, that the kingdom of heaven is within, but you become the Christ, that you become absolute love in your heart and you connect with all that is. Jesus says, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. His message of love, which is my thesis, will never pass away. The kingdom of heaven is within, and when you realize the God within and become the Christ energy and maintain that Christ consciousness and achieve that Christ consciousness, you will find heaven on earth. And that discovery, that enlightenment, that transition of finding yourself and becoming absolute love will start your transition, so that when you transition your energy from this dimension, this life, to your passing to death, your energy will go on eternally. That's Jesus' true message. That love is eternal, that you are eternal, that you are love, and that there is only love in the world, but we have to discover it. We have to have that transition. There has to be that second coming, right? There has to be that second coming into your mind, heart, body, and soul, where you connect with the Christ. You become absolute love. You become the Christ of absolute love. You achieve the Christ consciousness and become that consciousness. When you discover and you do that, and you come to this fourth or fifth level of the second coming of Jesus Christ, you will become the Christ, and your life will never be the same. It'll be different, because there will only be joy. You will not be affected by external circumstances. Everything will be joyful. Even the sorrows, you will find that joy, that love. But you will achieve everything you want in this life. But you have to have that belief. You have to have that awareness of the power of love. And that true message of Jesus Christ, that is love, and that second coming is becoming absolute love. Now, if you become absolute love and you want to hedge your bets, yeah, you'll be ready for the second coming, and if there's a judgment, you will go to heaven. But when you look up, where is heaven? Heaven starts in here. Heaven is the expanding universe. Heaven is the multidimensional dimensions of life. Heaven and love are immanent and transcendent, personal and impersonal, subjective and objective. But know this, when you become absolute love, everything collapses in and becomes the all-infinite power of absolute love. Dear God, this moment, we thank you for the knowledge of the second coming of Jesus Christ. We thank you for our knowledge of the love of Jesus Christ. We thank you for knowing that love in our hearts this moment, experiencing the second coming of love in Jesus Christ this moment now, because we are the Christ. We are absolute love. Thank you for the enhancements of our lives. Thank you for everything in this life. Dear God, thank you for the love consciousness, the Christ love consciousness of absolute love. So it is so. Amen. Well, take this story, in a way it doesn't matter what you believe about the second coming, because it all comes down to love. If you don't have the love of God or love of yourself, aren't aware, you're not going to get to that second coming anyway. But the bottom line is, Deborah and I love you. You are loved. You are loved. Check us out on our website, LoveMakersFoundation.com. Go in love, and remember, love is the way.